Good morning. It's 9:30 on the 24th of September. Commissioners Banks, Mears, and Vero are here along with Stacy Crawford, Andrew Keller, our county administrator, Lori Betson, and Toby Borders from JFS. And our first point of business is you have some contracts to bring before us.
Do.
I'd like to explain, and Carl Hunnell from Richland Source is here. And thank you for coming and visiting us. Thank. So, Toby, what kind of contracts you got here? They all look pretty familiar.
Standard contracts we usually renew every year. The first set are our TANF contracts that go along with our services provided to families through the PRC plan. Catholic Charities, the Catalyst Life Services for Success Unlimited. CCMEP Youth Services to Catalyst is an amendment to the existing contract because the funding sources are different. So the initial was through WIOA that started in July, but TANF funding isn't available till October. So that's an amendment to that one. Richland County Children's Auxiliary is for the new store to do the dressing days, backpacks, those programs for the next year. And then the Richland County Board of Developmental Disabilities is the
leadership.
ALA Leadership Program. So those are all TANF. Then we have a set that are our Title 20 contracts for Catholic Charities, the Mansfield Library 211, the Domestic Violence Shelter, Wayfinders, and Richland County Children's Services. And then the last set are the net transportation contracts. We do have a new provider this year. We will be working with Richland County Transit some. Those are pass-through funds though, so we just request them as we use them for reimbursement. And then we do have, this past year, we did use about 1.1 million in net transportation funds that we look forward to using again this year. So two amendments. The CCMEP that I mentioned is an amendment due to the change in the backpack back to school summer program this year. The Children's Auxiliary at the new store asked for a little bit of additional funding to cover some extra kids. So there's an amendment to add $9,075 to their contract to cover those additional dressing days and backpacks.
I mean, there's additional need than anticipated in extending to additional days.
I don't think there will be next year. It's because of the change in the way we administered the program this summer. So we've been putting the word out. A lot of people are more familiar that it's going to be the online process going forward instead of the predetermined group like we had done before. But we did service a lot of new kids and people who haven't been able to benefit from the program before. We had a lot better pickup rate also. Out of 669 families, all but one picked up their vouchers and backpacks this year.
In the past, it's not been.
It's been 25 to 30% of families. So it's a much better rate for that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Being everything,
Yep.
all the contracts and amendments.
Hold on. I'm just approving up through the 15 contracts and subawards
Okay.
as presented on the resolution for today.
Thanks.
Yes.
Rivero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve the amendment.
Second.
Fairbank,
Yes.
Rivero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh,
They were.
Carl may have questions about all those subawards and
This is,
No questions about subaward amendments and agreements.
I've never seen this happen, so.
guys are just that good at your job. You answered your presentation. Answered any questions.
Branding, bad.
You and me both, brother.
Be my cute eggs.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming up, ladies.
Thank you.
Stacy will probably just pick those up tomorrow.
Hey, Tony,
Wonderful.
I sent you a text. Did you see it? No?
I don't keep my phone with me during
Oh.
meetings usually.
Okay.
I have full attention.
So you can't do the courtroom and L1 resolution advertising now.
No,
We could potentially discuss it, but we wouldn't be able to vote till 10.
let's just go through the other and just get it done and then it'll be quick.
Okay, can we get a motion to certify the record of proceedings for the 19th September?
I actually have some amendments, 00.0142. Where it says is 0.0004% of the original budget. It should be overall budget of the court's overall budget. Further down, it says at any elective office, it should be elected office. And then find a way to transfer $1,000 between the budgets. Those would be my proposed amendments, and I wrote that down for you, Stacy. And there you go.
A motion to accept as amended.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Okay, can we approve the requisition?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Okay, and then we have the inmate commissary services agreement between the county sheriff and AEEFE Commissary Network LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner.
And we accept the 5 easements for the Corson Road Bridge Replacement Project.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
And the engineer has asked us to approve a utility permit application from Columbia Gas for a new service line at 2015 Mansfield Lucas Road.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Carol, I have 2 pieces of other,
Well, let's take.
as we call it. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we approve hiring Marley Patton for the part-time kennel position. Start date of 9/26 with a starting pay of $13 an hour.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
And then I would like to make a motion that we accept the resignation of Shauna Williamson, child support, effective 9/27.
So moved.
Last second,
I second that.
seconded, yep. Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
And I guess for Carl, you would like us to at least discuss the advertising since you have to go across the street to the more boring government. Is that correct?
There's a board of no control meeting at 10 o'clock. I know you're not gonna vote on it till 10, but if you could discuss what you're going to be voting on, it'd be highly appreciated.
Well, I think Andrew's been working very hard on this, and I think, Andrew, it would be appreciated if you could give us a little summary so we can get that, and everybody else.
Sure. So you'll see 2 separate projects. The Richland County Land Bank Common Areas and Restroom Renovation Project and the Richland County Courtroom 4 project. We've gotten to the point in our planning that we are ready to bid both of these projects out. This here is a plan set for one of the 2 projects. This is for the Land Bank Common Areas and Restroom Renovation Project. It's a little over 25 pages. While separate projects, the project timeline will, as far as bidding, will largely coincide because of our ARPA deadlines. What I would ask the commissioners to do today, a little bit later, is to approve advertising For both projects, the time for opening of bids for the fourth courtroom project will be October 22nd at 10 a.m. And the time for opening of bids for the land bank common areas and restroom renovation project will be October 24th at 10 a.m. So we're staggering the opening dates by a couple of days. Obviously, both of these projects are subject to the lowest and best standard. We are giving approximately 4 weeks to receive bids. And we've discussed the projects a little bit before, but again, with the land bank common areas and restroom renovation project, that's going to touch all 5 floors of the building, 4 out of our 5 common areas, 9 of our public restrooms. These are spaces that haven't had any sort of aesthetic upgrade since the late 1960s. The whole goal behind the improvements, and on L1, of course, we're going to be improving the land bank meeting space, making it more accessible to the public. Also enhancing the probation training area. The goal being a better experience for Richland County residents who come to the county administration building, as well as county employees. On L1 as well, there will be an additional, we'll be creating a break room for employees, exercise room for employees as well. Fourth courtroom project, as you know, will be constructed on the 2nd floor in the space being vacated by the clerk of courts. Fourth courtroom, the judges have reinforced is necessary to accommodate their increased docket. They will utilizing this space regularly for hearings and trials. The projects, unless they're being handled by the same contractor, we hope to stagger their construction. The fourth courtroom will be first in time, and the land bank common areas and restroom renovation project will follow immediately after completion of the project. Our architect has allotted 150 days, so about 5 months as construction time for the courtroom project, 240 days, so 8 months for the land bank common areas and restroom renovation project. We expect by the time both projects are complete, we'll be into 2026.
240 sounds pretty ambitious.
We believe it's doable. You know, the main item that's been delaying, well, the only item at this point that's delaying the completion of the L2 project is the air handler. In talking to our design team, fingers crossed, but we're not anticipating any particular piece of equipment that will create a supply chain issue for us, at least on both of these projects. The court is attending to the courtroom furniture independently.
Just think we're doing a courtroom where the space is already there in 4 months and I'm all, let's do this. We're doing an entire new land bank offices, a bunch of new other offices, all the common areas and 9 restrooms and just a little bit more than 100% of that. So from 4 months to 8 months,
5 months courtroom,
5 and 8. That's
8 months for the other, 13 months total. You know, we're hopeful, but the reason they're staggered is, especially if it's 2 different contractors, it could end up being a staging area nightmare because there's limited space to access the building for contractors. So our preliminary intention is to have one contractor in and out, or getting the next contractor in.
We have 10 restrooms, but one was done with the L2 project, the clerk of courts.
And it looks nice. Not done yet, but it's getting there. So 1 down, 9 to go.
Yep, those restrooms are jumping about 60 years in 8 months' time.
And speaking to employees and coworkers here, that's the one I think they're most excited for. The bathrooms seem to be the general source of complaint, just design, aesthetics, the whole 9 yards. So people who are in this building daily are very excited. And I did tell Ms. Bowman and Miss Patton that we get to theirs last. So if we could do that, that would be great.
What floor is that on?
Second floor, so.
That floor. And also one common area isn't done because it's already been, the main floor has already been done. And the rest of the corridors and common areas will be done very similarly.
That's a good point. So, but for the custom mosaic at the end of the first floor, the other 4 floors are going to largely replicate the aesthetic on the first floor.
Carl, do you have any questions?
Who's the architect that you guys been working with on this, Andrew?
Brad Mauer with Mad Studio. He's been working closely with Craig Christie with Karpinski Engineering.
And big Maslin fan too, Carl. He's a Maslin graduate, so
Goes to about every game.
I know you love that.
Maybe he can still add and subtract.
I'll tell him you said that.
Feel free, I've been Maslin fans most of my life.
He's also a big Miami guy.
Shock of shocks. How'd Miami do against your Smiling Irish?
They held up well.
Okay. Is there a cost estimate, Andrew, on both of these projects?
Yes, there is. For the larger project, $2,750,000. Project, $725,000.
And that is all designated, already approved for. You have to do actual ARPA. Time, right?
Correct, correct.
Yeah, Carl, we're gonna have to dip into capital.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to utilize capital monies. It's a combination of ARPA and capital, and what we say is non-borrowed dollars. We are not borrowing money to complete these projects.
Have left that you haven't already accounted,
Well,
or at least in some preliminary.
correct. At this point, we've exhausted our ARPA dollars either through actual obligations or anticipated commitments.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to dip 2 million into capital, Carl. I'll show about where we're at. Well, Andrew and I go back and forth. I show we're over 1.5 in capital that we're gonna need to come up with right now.
How much is in the capital fund right now?
I have that because I looked at it yesterday because a common friend of ours asked that same question. She may enjoy history. You know who that is.
Why would she be asking about our capital fund now?
Not gonna say on the record, but I'll tell you later. 11,570,780.
It's currently in the capital, or what do you guys call it?
Richland Reinvestment, Fund number 100.
That's what I had. I appreciate you guys doing that.
Okay, 9:48, and we will go to recess until 10 a.m.
Now I'll blame
got the last one. Can I ask a question?
Not sure, we may need to sign the front page on this. You guys didn't do that. It didn't have a signature, but I presume because it was in there, we needed to sign the resolution.
Oh.
Sounds good.
Good morning, it's 10 and we are back in session. We've been joined by our architect and our engineer in electricity, Craig Grinsky and Ed Mauer. And have talked a little bit about the fourth courtroom and the renovations along with the restrooms. But it won't hurt to hear a little bit more about it. So if you, Brad, if you'd like to talk about the two different projects.
We're working on, putting out for bids, renovations to the fourth courtroom. Where the clerk of courts area was. 2,850 square feet of renovations. Courtroom, 2 small, jury rooms, some storage rooms. We are also, looking at the L1 renovations, the land bank. And some common restrooms and corridors throughout the entire building. Total area of that renovation is around 11,500 square feet. The bulk of that is on the L1 floor, about 8,800 square feet is mostly on the L1 floor. And then the rest is on the other floors is mostly public restrooms and corridor areas. And we're excited to get this out for bids and under construction.
You like to add, Craig, or is that?
Well, I'll just add a couple things. I'm not sure if they were said, but the L1, mostly land bank, the restroom and common corridors, our budget's $2,750,000. And our bid date is October 24th at 10. In courtroom 4, our budget is $725,000. And our bid date is October 22nd at 10 a.m.
I want to compliment our team. Brad Mauer with Mad Studio and Craig Christie with Karpinski Engineering, and of course their team and their supports has made it possible to get to this point, and we're appreciative of that.
Yes, we are. And to you also, Andrew. Anything else from up here? Any questions? Hearing nothing, entertain a motion to put these projects out for bid.
Moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes,
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
okay. And are there other we've covered? 10:04,
Wow.
stand adjourned.
I was.
Okay, thank you.
Carl, thank you very much.